In this episode, film will summarize the plot of a 2024 Brazilian action film. The movie tells the story of a former Special Forces operative seeking revenge after her beloved husband is murdered. Alone, she takes down all her enemies in Brazil. The film was released in May 2024 and received a 5.1 out of 10 rating on IMDb. Without further ado, let's dive into the movie's storyline. Opening scene, we are introduced to a woman named Lisa, a former recruit of the French Special Forces. She is currently consulting with a psychologist to cope with her trauma after losing her son, Tom, who passed away from cancer. Meanwhile, her husband, Eric, is in Brazil, working as a member of the Customs Operational Division. Lisa recalls how she first met Eric. They crossed paths in South America during a hostage rescue mission and counter-terrorism operation. After spending 6 months together, they got married and had a son, Tom. However, their happiness was short-lived. Tom's death from cancer left a deep wound in Lisa's heart. The trauma of losing her child led her to retire from the Special Forces. Now, she is waiting for Eric to return from Brazil, as they have planned a vacation together. Eric will be home tomorrow, Lisa says with a smile.
Found him.
Next scene, we are introduced to Romy, Eric's colleague at French Customs. Romy is shocked when he receives news from his contacts in Brazil that Eric has been found dead with gunshot wounds in front of the Brazilian embassy. Meanwhile, Lisa, who is out for her morning run, notices Romy's car parked in front of her house. She quickly approaches him and asks what really happened. As she escorts Romy to the door, Lisa inquires about the case Eric was working on before his death. It seems to be a dispute between drug cartels, Romy replies. He also mentions that Eric is suspected of being involved in a drug trafficking scandal, as a large sum of cash, believed to be from an illegal transaction, was found in his room. Hearing this, Lisa refuses to believe it. She knows her husband well and is certain that Eric would never be involved in such things. After Romy leaves, Lisa begins searching online for news about Eric's death, determined to uncover the truth. The next morning, Lisa wakes up to a phone call from Romy. They are set to depart for Brazil immediately. Before leaving, Lisa takes a moment to look through old photos from her time in the Special Forces, reminiscing about her past life before all these tragedies unfolded. Upon arriving in Brazil, Lisa and Romy head straight to the facility where Eric's body is being autopsied. Before seeing her husband's remains, Lisa is handed Eric's personal belongings. Gathering her courage, she steels herself to face the painful reality. However, Lisa is shocked when she sees Eric's body riddled with bullet wounds. Deep sorrow washes over her face, but beyond the grief, anger and vengeance ignite in her eyes. She is now determined to uncover who is responsible for her husband's death. After returning to the hotel, Lisa immediately transfers Eric's files and archives from his phone, hoping to find clues that could help her uncover the truth. From one of Eric's videos, Lisa discovers evidence of counterfeit drug trafficking. According to the information in the video, the counterfeit drug business is more profitable, less risky, and harder to trace than narcotics trafficking. Law enforcement officials even state that this network is vast, powerful, and highly organized, generating profits of over $200 billion. Customs had seized a large shipment of counterfeit drugs, but a pharmaceutical company called Pubex filed a complaint against the seizure. It turns out that Eric had been investigating this case before his death. Additionally, Lisa finds call records showing that Eric had been in contact with an Interpol agent named Richard Domantier. The next day, Lisa decides to stay in Brazil, while Romy returns to France. Before they part ways, Lisa asks Romy to track down Richard Domantier as soon as possible. She wants to uncover the connection between Richard, Eric, and Pubex in this case. Lisa then heads to a Brazilian police station to meet an old acquaintance, Sergeant Ramos. She inquires about the progress of Eric's murder investigation, but Ramos explains that the case is still under investigation. He urges Lisa to return home, promising to contact her if any new information emerges. While at the station, Lisa's eyes are drawn to an investigation board. She notices a photo of a man suspected to be involved in Eric's death, and quickly takes a picture for reference. Later, Lisa rents a room in an area notorious for cartel activity. From her window, she closely observes drug transactions happening in the streets. Before long, she approaches one of the men in the area to buy a firearm. The man agrees and invites her to drive to a location where she can acquire a pistol, a weapon that will aid her in her pursuit of justice. Lisa asks where she can find the man in the photo. Around here, we call him Peck, says an informant. Peck is a member of the Vermelho gang in Providencia. Back in her room, Lisa researches the gang's headquarters and the locations where Peck is usually active. After gathering enough intel, she buys a used car and immediately heads out to find him. Upon arriving, Lisa approaches a woman, hands her some money, and shows her Peck's photo. "All right, let's go," Lisa responds, wasting no time. Lisa arrives at her target's location. With vengeance burning in her eyes, she watches Peck laughing with his friends. As Peck starts walking away, Lisa quietly follows from behind. They eventually reach a bar. Without hesitation, Lisa walks straight up to Peck, drawing the attention of everyone around. She then pulls out a hand grenade. The next day, at the police station, Sergeant Ramos reports to his superior about the case's latest developments. He reveals that Peck and his associates were found dead, allegedly killed using high-caliber weapons. "It seems that woman's prayers were answered," Ramos mutters. "What do you mean?" his superior asks. Ramos explains that Eric's wife, Lisa, had come to him looking for her husband's killer. After Ramos leaves, his superior receives a call from Peck. Surprised, he immediately steps out of his office to take the call, only to realize that the caller is actually Lisa. During their conversation, Lisa learns that a police officer named Luis Alves, the man Peck mentioned, is the mastermind behind Eric's murder. For the next morning, as Luis Alves steps outside his home, he is suddenly drenched in filth by a street kid. Furious, he chases the boy into an abandoned building, following him down into a basement. However, once inside, Luis realizes he has been set up. The kids were paid by Lisa, and the floor is drenched in gasoline, ready to be ignited. "Why did you kill my husband?" Lisa asks coldly. Terrified, Luis confesses that he was paid $20,000 by a man named Arthur Pereira, a private security entrepreneur. He also reveals that the drugs and cash found in Eric's room were planted. He personally staged the scene to make it appear as if Eric was involved in drug trafficking. Lisa then forces Luis to hand over his phone. After getting the evidence she needs, she sets the room on fire, burning Luis alive. That night, Lisa begins digging into Arthur Pereira's background and his connections. She soon discovers that his security company is hired by Andrea Barbosa, the CEO of VDA Mitraflex, a major pharmaceutical company in Brazil. Lisa calls Arthur, pretending to be a potential client who needs security for her daughter. The next day, she arrives at his office, claiming she has an appointment. During their meeting, Lisa pretends to admire his company's reputation, before suddenly slamming a photo of Eric's dead body on the table. Arthur is stunned, but before he can react, Lisa attacks him, knocking him unconscious. When Arthur wakes up, Lisa interrogates him. He admits that he was simply following orders from VDA. Eric, during his investigation, discovered that VDA was involved in producing counterfeit drugs through illegal factories in collaboration with Pubex. As Eric got closer to exposing the truth, Andrea Barbosa felt threatened and ordered his assassination. "I want to meet Barbosa," Lisa demands. But Arthur insists that he has never met Barbosa in person. All communication is done through his son, Junior Barbosa, who serves as vice president of VDA. "Where can I find Junior?" Lisa asks. Arthur answers, but before he can say more, Lisa kills him and leaves the scene. In Rio de Janeiro, Barbosa is informed by his assistant, George, that Arthur Pereira was found dead, killed by torture with a fishing hook, leading to internal bleeding. Enraged, Barbosa orders George to find the person responsible. "What's the point of paying you if you're useless?" he shouts. Lisa arrives outside Junior Barbosa's office, which is guarded by his bodyguard, Bruno. She approaches Bruno and aims her gun at him, but Bruno remains calm. He reveals that he knows Barbosa is corrupt and evil, but he has no choice but to work for him. His wife has cancer, and he needs the money for her treatment. Feeling sympathy for Lisa, Bruno secretly offers his help. He hands Lisa his business card, saying she can contact him anytime if she needs him. To maintain their cover, Bruno asks Lisa to shoot him in the stomach, making it look like a random robbery. Lisa complies, then steals his car and speeds off towards Junior Barbosa. Inside the car, Lisa holds Junior at gunpoint, forcing him to call his father. But instead of Barbosa, his right-hand man picks up the call. "I want to talk to Barbosa," Lisa demands. However, the man on the phone laughs and says that Junior is nothing more than a nuisance to Barbosa. He even reveals that Junior has a $10 million life insurance policy, implying that Barbosa wouldn't care if Lisa killed him. "My father never answers my calls anyway," Junior says bitterly. Lisa then demands that Junior explain what's really going on at VDA. Junior admits that VDA is a pharmaceutical company producing generic drugs, but their biggest profits actually come from counterfeit medicines, manufactured in illegal labs operated by Pubex. Recently, Customs seized a shipment of Pubex's counterfeit drugs, and Eric successfully traced the supply chain back to a VDA-owned factory. Eric planned to expose everything to the public, which would destroy VDA and expose corrupt officials who were protecting them. To prevent this, Barbosa ordered Eric's murder. Realizing that VDA's illegal factory is the key to everything, Lisa gives Junior a final command: "Take me to that factory." Lisa's awakening. Unconscious and severely injured, Lisa is carried away by the factory workers to their village. Meanwhile, Roe, one of Barbosa's men, reports to George. The factory was attacked, and Junior, who arrived with the assailant, was killed in the assault, Roe states. Some time later, Lisa is seen being treated by a village healer. Her wounds are carefully tended with traditional herbal medicine. After several days, she finally regains consciousness. In a weak, sorrowful voice, Lisa whispers, "You should have let me die. I wanted to join my son and husband." The healer gently places a hand on Lisa's stomach, looking at her with deep meaning, then softly says, "There is life inside you. A rebirth." Lisa's eyes widen in shock. Unbeknownst to her, she is pregnant. It suddenly makes sense. The nausea, the vomiting she had been experiencing lately. Lisa immediately calls Romy, informing him that she is in a village north of Belém and has discovered Barbosa's counterfeit drug factory. Barbosa is using the villagers as test subjects for his fake drugs. "I've destroyed the factory. Please get me out of here, fast," Lisa urges. She then hesitates before revealing something she has only just realized. "Turns out, we'll pick you up soon. I'll call you back on this number," Romy interrupts, already making arrangements. And meanwhile, Barbosa is furious as George reports the attack on his factory. "Find Lisa immediately. She must not leave this country. If you fail, you know the consequences. You'll be going home just to eat rocks," Barbosa snarls. Shortly after, Romy calls Lisa again. French foreign intelligence has authorized an extraction operation into Guyana. A special forces team will be waiting for you at the extraction point in 5 hours. Also, I found Richard Demantier, the Interpol agent Eric was in contact with. He's on his way to pick you up. Not long after, Richard Demantier arrives at the village to extract Lisa. But at the same time, Royce and his mercenaries are also closing in on the village, hunting her down. Richard quickly introduces himself to Lisa and urges her to leave immediately. Before departing, Lisa thanks the mother and daughter who helped her, then leaves with Richard. On the way, Richard reveals the truth. "Eric and I often exchanged intel about Pubex. I've spent years tracking Barbosa for murder, corruption, and counterfeit drug trafficking." Meanwhile, Royce and his team arrive at the village, looking for Lisa. $1 million for Lisa's head, Barbosa orders. The chase begins. After a long and intense pursuit, Lisa and Richard finally reach the extraction point. But they don't realize a sniper has them in his sights. A gunshot rings out. Richard is hit and killed instantly. Royce approaches Lisa and sneers, "Take off your bulletproof vest and stand up. I won't kill you with a gun. That's too easy." He challenges her to a knife fight. A brutal battle ensues, but Lisa prevails, killing Royce. Moments later, the extraction helicopter arrives. Lisa and the remaining survivors are swiftly evacuated. Lisa is flown back to France aboard a Hercules transport aircraft. Upon landing at the airport, Romy is already waiting for her. As soon as she steps out of the plane, he embraces her tightly. Meanwhile, at Barbosa's estate, the television blares breaking news. The counterfeit drug trafficking scandal involving Barbosa has finally been exposed. More witnesses come forward, and Interpol issues an international arrest warrant for Barbosa, the owner of VDA. The Minister of Health resigns and is set to face trial. George exits the room, and Barbosa's personal aide, Bruno, steps inside. Barbosa, furious and frustrated, suddenly freezes, his eyes locked on the TV screen. Lisa appears on the broadcast, staring straight into the camera, as if speaking directly to him. With rage burning in his eyes, Barboza roars, "I'll pay any price to have Lisa killed. You will never be safe, anywhere." On the screen, Lisa merely smirks coldly and replies, "For now, I remain untouchable." That's it for this episode, guys. Support this channel by hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment if you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Thank you.